Good morning, traders. Welcome to TradeSetup in the morning live stream. It's the 7th of November. Hope we all had a great weekend. No, I did. I've got a bit of sunburn to prove it. So nice, relaxing time. Now the market at the moment. Let's quickly, if as per usual, if you want to send through any charts, anything you want to discuss, you can either just whack it into chat, put the codes through to chat, anything at all. You can look at some, mainly ASX stocks we're looking at the moment. You can go through some gold, commodities. We can have a look at some currencies if you like, if there's anything at all, or you can send through a chart to support@tradesetup.com.au to get us going. So at the moment, we'll have a bit of a look at where the ASX is opened. It's up at the moment. I think we're up about 30 to 40 points. So yeah, up 40, 46. So it's quite a strong day today so far. Quite a strong open. I think obviously over the next couple of days we've got to keep an eye on that. Obviously with the elections coming out, I know now. I know it's potentially there's good odds at the moment on Trump, but it was same going into Brexit. I think the odds were a lot higher that it was a stay vote was going to come through than actually a leave vote. So it looks like, and then obviously we know what happened then. We had a bit of a surprise with the leave vote, and that caused a bit of havoc in the market. Great trading opportunities produced, but we also got a similar type of scenario at the moment. We've got odds, I think, on Hillary is $1.20 and Trump is $4.50. So obviously a lot more likely than Hillary is going to get through, but just be wary if there's a bit of does look like Trump could get through, then it's something that we really could see some action in the markets. I think that's out on Tuesday US time. So yeah, just keep an eye on it. It could bring some great opportunities. Let's just keep going. So it looks like the markets maybe. I think there's also some news out that the FBI. I don't know exactly what they said, but I don't think there's going to be any charges laid. There was potentially, with all this new email scandal, that Hillary is going to get, or there's talk of that, but maybe that's just the news blowing out of proportion. But FBI have come out and said, no, that's not going to happen. So I think that's why a bit of positivity this morning, and maybe that swung back away from, Trump getting voted into Hillary. So we'll see how that plays out, though. Just looking at the XJ, we'll take a look at the XJO. All right, so yeah, that's an interesting chart there. That's the ASX 200 on a daily basis. We got through some key level at 5,200. That was on Friday. We bounced off that previously a couple of days before, headed down into that level. Pushed through that on Friday and just bouncing back today. Still, that price action there looks kind of negative in my eyes at the moment. Let's just take a look. Draw up a few levels on that. Yeah, we had something like this we were looking at, and it's just got through this 5,200 zone. Well, that's not the closest of levels. There we go. Just got through 5,200, and it's made this major lower high. So that could keep a bit of a cap on the market. We may see a bit of consolidation there, where the market just pushes. It's made the lower high there, just broken out. It may just wash out a bit more and then build back. We don't know what's going to happen at the moment, but if we do head down, we're going to run into a bit of support at about that 50-50 mark, and then further down we've got a major zone through here at 4,900. So there's a few levels to provide some support there. Whether we extend further down, who knows, and that probably could be based around what comes out in the elections. If it does look like Hillary gets voted in, Clinton gets voted in, we may just see that bounce back and then start building some of these higher lows, provide a bit of support. Otherwise we could just really roll over hard down to 50-50 and beyond. We'll see how that plays out. What's everyone else's view? Anyone got some views on what they're expecting, what potentially could happen? Anyone got their eyes on some things leading up to it? I know I'm more risk adverse that way going into it, because I think there's going to be more than enough for what I like to look at, more than enough opportunities. If it is a lot closer than expected, you may see the market bounce around. Might be a bit hard to see because I think it'll be over during our night session. So I mean, if you're up watching it and trading on the back, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities even during the count, I'm assuming. But longer term, I would potentially have just eased out of a bit of my portfolio, and we do like gold. I think there's a lot of potential if Trump does get some good votes, and it does look that way. I think gold could really go, but downside, I don't think there's not a lot of downside on it on gold. I think it's looking really nice. So there's different ways to attack that market. All right, anyone? All looking good. So yeah, that's the ASX at the moment. I think it's showing some weakness. Obviously, it may just go into consolidation there, but we'll see how that goes the next coming days. Still up 44. Let's just go through. Just have a quick look at where some of our positions are standing at the moment. ASX, we've still got some weakness showing in that. That's looking good. That could easily just roll over. I did bounce off that 45 mark. Bounced up, had a bit of indecision on, I think that was Friday, and then today is up slightly. Nothing too significant. We've got the market did open up quite strong, so that could just push back, build another high low, and go and retest those lows even through 45. We'll see how that goes. Telstra's sort of hanging around that 492. It did break through that 492, hanging around that mark there between 90 and 95. That's still on a weekly basis, still looks very, very weak, so happy to hold that and just see what happens. You can see that major, it's had that push up, sort of had that extension up towards 680, it accelerated a bit, pulled back, consolidated a bit, made a major lower high, and then just really sold off there. Now it's tried to build that base above 5 to 510, had another go, started to work its way higher above 580, but then just really failed again, so you can see that sort of acceleration lower was quite strong, like we saw previously. Back it was mid 2015, acceleration down, built up. So we may see that continuation lower. Who knows where it's going to go, but that's starting to look more likely, especially with that minor lower high. So that's why we're happy with that one. Happy to continue and just see where that can go. What else have we got? We'll take a look at the banks soon. We'll take a look at some more major stocks, especially going into these into the elections. We'll look at the banks in a second. Anything that anyone wants to look at, just put up a code through chat, especially any of these major ones, just to see what the price structure could look at, what it may look like. All right, there's nothing really standing out too much. Okay, we're going to take a look at RMS actually. Oh, look, we'll start off with that one. Let's get into that one. We'll just go through just some examples of price structure that we'd like to look at. Now, I've just got to find actually we'll use this chart. I can use... Alright, get my fancy tool again. Okay, so this is one where we've got a long on that. I think it's from 49. It has backed off a bit today. We can see that push lower to 46. I think it touched on today. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes going forward. We're still happy. We really like the price structure on this one. Going from left to right, left of the chart, just the reasoning behind it, what we're looking for. Actually, we'll see if the weekly chart looks a bit better. Yeah, starting off at the weekly, we're coming into the area, and we have pushing through that 60 was a good sign that, this would potentially in that zone there, if we can see that. It's roughly 40 to 60. There was a bit of work done there previously, and then we sold off there, and we've built that over since 2013. We spent a lot of time building that base, and then through 2015 built a higher low, and then we're starting to push up from there. So it wasn't up until probably mid of this year it pushed up into that 60, so it got to the top end, even spiked through the top end of that range there from 2012 to into 2013. Pushed out to the top then, and we've spent a bit of time just major pullback correcting there, but really potentially on a weekly basis it looks very nice. It's in a great zone there. holding that higher low. You can see those previous higher lows around that 35 mark. It held there. Some on the daily, obviously, too, held some higher lows and then accelerated up and through to 65, I think. So we've been pulling back there, but we're hopefully looking for a very similar price action stuff. We go back to the daily and what we got, just remembering where we are. So that's at 65, resistance up there is 64, and that's that zone. I think it was from 40. So just remember that longer term zone from back in 2012, sort of this zone. Whoop. Still a beginner on this. So you can see that major zone in there, those two levels there. So we've built that higher low, and the good thing is, previous price action, you can see that sort of, we've had that big run up from previous higher low there as we, working our way into that zone, that 40 to 60. Accelerated up into it, pull back, make some higher lows again. We can see that initial pop through, but then it's come back and pulled back and made a higher low again. So it's just putting pressure to the upside. And after that nice strong move up, it's sort of what we want to see. That it's hard to sustain that type of move. Just keep going up with that sort of strength that we can see. See the steepness of that move as well. It's quite impressive actually. So you'd want to see that going into some sort of consolidation then, but continuing to make those higher lows, which we have, and that was really nice price action there. Then we got this acceleration back up through the top end of that range there at 64. So after that, again, what we want to see is maybe some consolidation, or just a pullback and then some consolidation. We've got that type of price action now, and that's what we're really happy to see. You can see that move down has run out of steam. We've gone into consolidation. Just bring in, actually that's probably not so. Let's just draw that in a nicer color. I like my colors there. So you can see we've had that move down. We're holding a major high low on the weekly, and we're just consolidating there. We're building those high lows. We've got a high low down here. Higher low, we built that high low, built another inside higher low here, so it's holding at 44. So that price action is really nice. And maybe we're just getting that, that push up to 52 was similar to what we saw here, and we might be pulling back, holding above 44, which we're happy to see that. Maybe we'll see a bit more minor higher lows, stepping in, some buyers just holding it up there, push back, consolidate around that, just do a bit more work, and then popping back up, and we might. Hopefully we're looking for that acceleration back up after it's done a bit of basing, maybe a bit of work in there, acceleration back up and through 64 like we saw previously. But similar type of price action we want to see. So far so good on that, on RMS. We like that. It looks good. We're happy to see these these curving type of moves through like that, and we potentially want to see that again. Okay, any questions on that? Anyone disagree, agree? Like what we're seeing there? We really do like it because it's building these higher lows, which is what you really want to see as buyers start getting attracted into the market. Happy to buy it in there. You can see where you risk, where you can hold your risk, and then you're looking for that pop up and that acceleration back up again in this nice steep move up, hopefully up and through 64, potentially up to 70, mid 70s. We'll see how that goes anyway. All right, let's just go through. Yeah, but that there on the weekly, this is RMS still. If you can see that, that's really nice. You can see it's come down and has that little spike up, built a high low, another just pop up, made a new, just an inside minor high there, pulled back, consolidated for a while there, through I think it's mid 2015, and started making highs, new highs as it took out some previous highs, which is really nice. So that area in there, potentially around that 20, would have been beautiful into end of last year, into the start of this year. And you saw some really, on the weekly as well, some really nice price action after it's done quite a bit of work in there and it's taken out some highs. That would have been a nice little area to trade in there, I'd say. I don't know what it looked like on a daily. Potentially we can get that. Okay, so this type of price action there, if you can see that, that was really nice. So just that high through, I think it's 24, took out some previous highs, pulled back, consolidated a bit, started popping up, built higher lows, so this would have been a really nice type of entry. You can really justify your risk there. It's quite a minor risk level, and you can see the MAs are starting to spread apart there, showing signs of accelerating higher, which we did get in the end, and it looked really nice. So then to major contraction. So hopefully we're going to get these signs again where the market's sort of coming to a point. Buyers are happen to step in at higher prices. Sellers are, getting out, and then starting to be put under pressure. And then we get those little setups. So it'd be nice if we can see that. Potentially our entry was a touch early, but that overall price structure is still very, very nice. Let's go through, I don't know, let's just go through a couple of the banks. And just take a look at them, obviously coming into what's the elections, just see where they stand, what sort of price action we're seeing there. Okay, this is ANZ. Okay. Let's just get, why didn't that come through? Okay, here we go. Alright, ANZ. Oh, this is I think it was a weekly, it's a weekly chart there. Well, ANZ's done a bit of work. Actually, not minding it too much. It's showing some okay signs as compared to some of the other banks, which we'll take a look at in a minute. Starting to show some good signs. We've had a bit of a push up, working from left to right again. You can see that acceleration up. It's made some higher lows. It's taken out some inside levels there. Popped through, built, consolidated through here. If we can see that there, consolidated through there a bit. But still holding higher lows. You can see this higher low here squeezing up and then accelerating to the upside. When you see that acceleration, getting in, it is a weekly, so you could still trade it quite well. But I think as you get accelerated up, the higher it gets, it's sort of more potential for it to contract back down again and then go back into that consolidation phase rather than just expanding straight up. You need to get a bit more energy, people back on the sidelines. So you really want to be seeing some, and you can see that sort of push back up through the highs, bit of a wash out of those highs, and then it rolled over from there. So, and it's come from quite a low down. It sort of contracted low, took out those lows, washed out the lows, and then popped straight back up through resistance. Now, to get in up here for me would be a bit aggressive, and I think I still want to see more work done, and that's what you saw. Through here it's failed, built some higher lows through here up, but only really back up into resistance and then rolled over, and we built another higher low. Sorry, pushed through those lows there at, I think it was $20 even thereabouts in this zone. All right, and then we started to, this one's probably a bit hard. That's a major high low in context to way back down at $12. Just getting a bit messy here, aren't I? Okay, so you've got that low there. We're looking for that contraction lower. The highs are holding. It's pushed down. Okay, we don't know what's going to happen here. It's building higher lows. But then once you start getting through these highs, then you're probably potentially looking for that entry that can take us through these highs at, I think it's 26, right through this level. Nice little zone in here. Remember, this is a weekly, so you can drill down to your daily for a potential trade there. In context of that, that's looking like it's got potential to move another, start to accelerate up again, and you can see that building higher lows, holding higher lows, washed out that highs there. Once you got this zone, this in here play out, it washed out those highs, and it's pulled back. And then we could be looking for, push up into the, taking out that 26 zone there. And we can see, okay, holding higher lows, holding higher lows, holding higher lows. You get that big acceleration up. So when it's pulled back all the way back down to test that higher low at 31. Okay, retested in this zone here. Pop back up on a minor scale, and it's built that lower high in there. So, and then we can see that acceleration down. So this leg up here. potentially expecting some contraction there. You've got that zone at 31's broken down now, so we don't know what's going to happen from here. So we want to see, you know, that leg washed out a bit, pull back, contract a bit of that big leg up there from 17 to, was it 37? So it's about a $20 move. That's been quite strong. That's the steepness is not too bad actually. So that's been quite not a conservative, more of a controlled move too, which is nice. Built that lower high there. You don't know what's going to happen from here, so you just want to see, okay, it's building lower highs, lower lows. It's pushed down, but it's only down to, say, more recently where we've made, it's not really a high low there. Found a low there. It's come and retested that low, pushed back up towards the highs, just in here, built that high low, and then we've just recently popped through. So now what we'd like to see here, on a weekly basis anyway, is that we've got that move. We just draw that up here, retested the lows down there. Okay, we've pushed back up, built a higher low, and then we've gone through. So what I'd like to see now is really pulling back, holding these high lows in here, and potentially a move up off. I mean, you can drill down to your daily charts to have a look, but potentially seeing that a better pullback, more controlled, something like we saw previously. A nice little correction. We can see the MAs have just crossed up on the weekly. I'm guessing the daily would be looking a bit better. Actually, we'll get the daily up. So you can see that's actually a lot nicer price action. That's through 26. Let's actually draw that up. Okay. So we can see that, see the high low built, and it's just popped through recently. So we've had this leg up here. I'd like to see, like I said, more maybe a controlled move down, and then start holding some higher lows again for a potential move. You know, your next, we'll get that leg up from 23 up to 28 or so. Maybe a pullback, build that higher base in here, and then go from there. But we'll see. You know, in context of the longer term chart, it could be coming to the zone, or this could just hold a higher low at 27 and then take out 28.5. We don't know what's going to happen, but ANZ is looking not too bad in my opinion there. But let's go to some others. Let's take a look. Westpac. Now we'll go over Westpac because it's something we did have previously. We'll start off with a weekly chart there. All right, now let's draw that up too. All right, now Westpac, it's showing signs at the moment, but nothing yet is confirmed to the upside. This is a weekly chart here, so again going from left to right, we've had that move up. You know, just a wash out of those highs there, we can see, and then just started to see the lows taken out, and then just a bit of consolidation through there. Tried to push up, made a major lower high there, and then we found some more weakness, and we pushed back down, so that you got sort of one leg, pull back, major lower high, another leg down. All right, so we made a low through here. That was about this 1750 zone, and then we started holding some higher lows. You know, attacking those highs in there at 23. You can see the high lows holding, and started working our way back up, and you can see that acceleration through. Potentially in here could have been a nice little area to trade, to go long after all this work's been done here. You can see the time that's taken as well. It's a couple of years there really. Taken a fair bit of time to work its way through, and then we've got that. Really, it's from that low there to that high at 40, just a touch under 40. It's had a good strong move up there. Really holding high lows, so there's really no pullback through there. That's been quite controlled as well. Quite a nice move higher from, you know, way down in the $18, $17.50 level. And suddenly now we started to, if I could just take that out, once we broke through that low at 31, and you can see that acceleration higher, and then it's just pretty much capitulated straight back down through and hit, you know, washed out that 31. We had that bounce, and then you've got that lower high build and it's come back down and made a lower low. So really you can see that contraction lower. Price hasn't, it's still coming to a point looking at it on the weekly basis. It's a bit different to ANZ, the structure's slightly different. At the moment, nothing gets confirmed either way. We can see lower highs are holding. We've still got more lower highs in here. Say just, I think it's 31.25 thereabouts. But we have seen that 27.50 zone touch down, and it's rejected off there, pushed back up quite high, come back down, touched back down in that zone at 28, rejected it again, pushed back up to 31. But we have built, one thing I do like is that high low in at 28.50. So just remembering that high low building there doesn't mean anything just yet, but we're getting to a point where we could just bust through. If we get back up through, I think it's 31.25, then we may see that market breaking out of its downtrend. We may just consolidate for a bit, or just contract for a while there, do a bit more work, and then starting building higher lows and pushing back up towards those highs at $40. We'll have to see how that plays out. But if we just go down to a look at a daily, just going through, we did have it's pretty much off those higher lows. It's probably a bit more aggressive than what it should have been. But we'll take a look at that. Just go through that trade. All right. So we can see, we've got these high lows, sorry, lower highs, really putting pressure on the market, and still through here. This is a high low that we're talking about at just above 28.50 after getting rejected that 27.50 mark. Still nothing through here. You can still, that trend is still putting pressure on the market, holding it down. It's, I guess, putting a bit of weight on that market down there. We can see, but it's starting to come to a point where you'd expect some action soon. So whether it's to the upside or downside, we don't know yet. So there's nothing really confirmed as of yet. But if we do start seeing the market breaking out or holding higher lows, if we can draw that there, it's coming down, building high lows, touching up at that resistance zone around the 31 mark, holding high lows. If we do get that pop out, then that's probably going to perk a bit of interest in there. We don't know what's going to happen if we push up through. It could just keep going, but I'd rather see a bit of a pullback. And even this type of price action is always nice. That in there and just popping out through. Once we've broken potentially 31.25, and then I think you're going to come up against some major resistance right up through 33. So 33 could be the next mark where we just longer term contraction, or not contraction, more just consolidation. We could pop up. That could be the top end of the range. We don't know just yet, but we've got to, by using this type of setup and this type of price action, it's given us a nice early entry. We've really, you've got minimal risk on that. And then we can see if we do get up to 33, push up there and find a bit of resistance and back off, okay, we can lock in a break-even trade. I guess even better than that. I'd say better than that at that stage. And then just watch it longer term to see what happens. But at the moment, Westpac, that entry through, I think our entry was through here, and we just got stopped out at $30 even just recently. That was a bit more aggressive. That was really preempting a push up through there. All right, just bear with me 1 second there, guys. Sorry there, guys, we're back. We just had a phone call coming through then, sorry about that. All right, let's continue. So any questions on Westpac, just while we've got it up here? All right, keep plugging away. Is there anything someone's looking at there? Before we can just continue on to the next. We'll look at another bank, we'll look at CBA, see how that's holding there. All right. Let's just see what the market's up to 50 points. So it's doing all right today. It's looking good. RMS it's still doing okay. ANZ, here we go. Sorry, just quickly going through what we've got. Telstra. All right, let's go through. Let's take a quick look at CBA as well. Just see if that price action looks a bit different to Westpac, and see what that looks like on a longer term basis as well. All right. So this is a weekly chart here at CBA. It's much the same. If you ask me, it looks very much similar to Westpac, where it's still holding lower highs on the weekly anyway. All right. So again, I guess like the other banks, it's had that move up there, that acceleration up. We don't know exactly what's happened previously. Prior to that, it could just be contracting. It's had that good little move up, and it's starting to had that little washout again. I think that was pretty much the same as Westpac previously. Taking out the lows, and then we've gone into that other phase, consolidation more there. So what we're going to see after, I think Davin was explaining this. It was really good explanation on Friday. You get that phase up there. We're always looking for that that move from consolidation or contraction into expansion. So we're trying to structure trades around that basis or around that theory. You're looking at different phases of the markets, but ideally you're always looking for higher lows to hold, where there's evidence of markets coming out of contraction, or people call it consolidation, into expansion, and just getting that acceleration higher. So it really starts to minimise your risk too. You're not getting caught up in chop in the market, and I think that's ideally what we're always trying to structure our trades around. And if you're looking at CBA here, we can see the market was making lower highs, made lower lows, and then we started holding some higher lows. So we don't know what's going to happen there, but just by keeping an eye on things and knowing what you're looking for with your setups, we've had that pop through the high there. So I think that's quite an important little high there. And then we pull back, so you can see that potentially we're looking for that move from contraction into expansion again there, and we can see those high lows are holding. So really we're just looking for that after we see that push out through those little minor highs there at, I think it was just above, so it's 51 or thereabouts. And remembering this is a weekly basis, so you're gonna drill down to your daily for an entry just to minimize your risk. But we've had that push up, contraction, and we're starting to hold higher lows. We're starting to look potentially, we've done a lot of work through there as well, and we're potentially holding those higher lows for that move up through some minor highs, and we're just trying to get in nice and early on that expansion leg up, and then just that push up through the highs. And you don't know what's going to happen, but that's obviously the reasoning behind the trades, what we're trying to look for. And what you can see, if you're trading this on a weekly basis, we've got that little pop higher, pull back, holding higher lows, you can see in here, and then we're starting to get that acceleration, holding higher lows while it's working up. More of a major high low there, another sort of inside high low. You can see all these levels are starting to hold, still holding. We don't know, if we've got a nice little entry from way down here, this is, even though it's come back down and retested that high low, it's still holding. And then you've got this more, you can see the steepness of that's just increased. That move up from, what was it, above 72, around 72.50 up to about 97, say, these highs. So really at this point here, if we can just draw that up a bit nicer, we've got well, that's not nicer, is it? So we've got more of a major level through here, even a touch higher. So that sort of zone through there. We've had that acceleration higher, made the highs, and really just sort of dropped. And you can see that acceleration lower just increased as well. So that's starting to show signs, even taking out this little minor high low there, starting to show signs we might have to be a bit cautious. Your key level, we could easily just bounce off that key level there. And what I would potentially be looking for at that stage, after that, taking into context that major move higher, that major leg up, we'll draw it in another colour. It's a major leg up there. I'm getting good at this little program, Sketch. Alright, so we we want to see that another high low hold, maybe a bit more contraction in price, but high low starting to hold, and then that contraction in and that push up for an expansion for a potential another leg that'd be targeting that 97 mark, 97 highs. We didn't get that. We've tried in here at say off 80 thereabouts. We've just popped up, but what we really built there, and remembering that steepness of that last little push up there, you tend to get those sort of moves towards the end of a major move. That it just increases, accelerates up, and then starts washing everything out to the downside. Now we've got that lower high in there. We don't know what's going to happen through a break down there, but you've just got that move, pop up, built a lower high, washed out the bottom just through 80, and then just gone and retested that major zone, just washed out there too. At that point, we don't know what's going to happen. It's popped back up, built a lower high, and then we've gone back down. We're really just, at this moment here, we're really just retesting 70. So whether it's got more work to do, now if you just take it to context, way back, I think it's in 2009, you've had that push up. This sort of contraction through here, it's way back from, I think it's 2010 through to 2012. So it's a good couple of years. We've done a fair bit of work there, a lot of work before we had this big push up to 97.5 or 97. Whether it's going to take some time to work through, whether we're going to hold 70, because we're still making lower highs on CBA there, still lower highs, but we are showing signs of holding that 70 mark. Now we really want to see a high-low build, wash out some of these highs, potentially through 80. If I can draw that up there. So you've had this major move back down to 70, so that's the high just up there at 85. And then we've got sort of minor double top there, but it's really just a lower high. You can see back down to 70. So what we'd like to see from here is really just some higher lows start to hold, for a push up, and then we'd want to see really, I guess, longer term, for signs that this we're starting to come out of that contraction, potentially into expansion higher for another major leg up, and then just try to take advantage of that by, there might be times when you get washed out of a couple of trades, but that's the way it is. Oh, sorry, Clement, I just saw that come through now. I'll have a look at that in just a second. IFM. No worries. So just looking at that, we've gone through 80. If we can get that push up through 80, and then I'd like to see, again, I like these type of setups inside high lows holding for a push up. That's what you like to see after that break of a key level, a key lower high. So we're starting, that pressure's breaking, that pressure to the downsides starting to get broken. You might get that pullback. We know that some buyers would be on the sideline from this overall longer term washout, holding a higher low, inside higher low, and then get that break up, hopefully targeting, through there, and we're starting to get, with any luck, we're starting to get that expansion high, and we'll be targeting up towards 97 through 97 up to $100 and so on. But that's what we're looking for. We like to structure our trades around that basis. Okay. Any questions on that just before we flick it over to IFM, isn't it? IFM. No, I'm just checking. I'm hoping my coffee's going to refill, but it's not working. I'm seeing if Davin can run down, but he's too busy. All right, we've got. Let's take a look at IFM then. Okay, it's always starting. We've got on the weekly. Let's just go back to the monthly to see. Okay. All right, let's start just. It's probably a bit of a long drawn out process, but just to getting context for the overall trade potentially and the overall market. Let's take a look at starting on a monthly. Just get a lot of data in there and a lot of context. So you can have that major move down we've had. You can see that, and that was quite a good sell-off. That's way back. Hope we're all seeing that. You can see that major move down. Okay, and we popped up, built a minor high low, pushed up, and then sold off again. Just washing out a few more traders, and you can see as we're heading down the steepness of that initial move. down. It's starting to ease off, which means that even though the market's coming down, making new lows, that steepness is quite a good thing to look at too. And you can see that steepness there. And, well, I guess it's there, and it's starting to ease off. Okay, so you can see there's potentially buyers starting to step in. I mean, personally, I wouldn't just be jumping in quite yet. We're still making lower highs, lower high there, and we haven't really held any form of high low just yet. So at this stage, even though we know there's probably is buyers stepping in, they're happy to step in, getting cheaper prices, whatever their reasoning is for jumping into the market, we don't know. But I mean, that's not something we look for just at the moment. But you can see what we have just recently seen. I guess it's not recent. We are looking at 2015, mid 2014. We've had that push up off the, I think it's 10 or 20 cents. We've had that nice move up, and we've just washed out that lower high at about 80 cents. So to us, I mean, still you're getting the early signs, and then we retested it. We tried to push up and continue on up at $1.30. We couldn't do it, and just made some minor lower highs, and then we pulled back. We pulled back into that range really, and we don't know what. I mean, I'm not saying we built a high low just yet because it's not confirmed. We could easily hold 80 cents and then roll over and take out 50, and then we're heading back down to that support at 20 cents. But the initial signs are there on the monthly chart. Remember, this is a longer term view. But we're starting to break some of those lower highs. Okay, we've broken it there, like I said, 2014, 15. Now if we go to just go to the weekly and just see what we've got. Again, we could just be, we've made that highs. It really just failed to continue on, and then once the market, we had that strong move up from 20 cents, say, give or take 20 cents, had a strong move up, really no abating there. We pulled back to 90 cents, and that was quite a sharp move down. It had a couple of rejection tails then, but they made that minor lower high, popped down. That was quite hard and sharp down there, down to 90. Pushed back up to try to continue on through $1.30. Couldn't do it, and then you're starting to get that tail there as well. That's a rejection there of that $1.30 mark. Pull back. Okay, trying to hold higher lows, build that momentum and push it back up again. It's not working. Made a lower high there and around that 127 mark, and then we failed. So once you're starting to get that play out, anyone who's been long, potentially from way back at 25, 30 cents, is starting to look going, okay, I think we could have a major contraction. We've gone out of that expansion phase into consolidation or contraction. I'm just happy to go back on the sidelines, book my profit, and then see how it goes for potential another entry. So that's probably the psychology behind those sort of moves. When we're extended or you're starting to look a bit stretched. We've had that acceleration up towards the end of a move again. That pop back down, push back up. So that's starting to, as a trader that's holding a long position, starting to get a bit concerned there. You don't want to give up your profits, obviously. People could take half off there. At that sort of stage, you don't know what they're doing. And then we've taken out these lows at 90 cents. So really, anyone that's still holding long, that's okay. You could be sitting on profit. You're starting to see, now you want to see signs of high lows holding. On the weekly, again, I'm not seeing too much evidence of that just yet. But at 50 cents, that could be a high low. We don't know just yet. Let's go to the daily for more evidence. Okay, let's draw up the daily now. So always try to remember the context of the monthly chart. Alright, so that's that major zone at $1.30. So we push down. The good sign is at 50 cents. We've had that sort of, I don't know why it's gapped down. It gapped down from 72 cents, pushed down into 50. Tried to close the gap a bit, then roll over, retested 50 cents, and then we started taking out some of those, holding a higher low in here just on a daily basis, taken out. We've closed that gap previously through here. Again, holding higher lows on a daily basis. Once you're getting up through 80 cents, then there is potential for this to be a major higher low at 50. Okay. and then we could just be working away, holding this trend up, potentially in here. We don't know. Just drilling, breaking apart. All right, you can see evidence of buying starting to step in. You've washed out that 80 zone into 85. Okay, pressures now on anyone that's sort of, if you're holding long, you'd probably, and you've gone through all that work through there, holding long while the market's moving down, you'd probably be getting a bit happier now, I'd say. If you're buying into down at this 60 zone, when you started to see that move down failing, and more consolidation through there, and it's starting to push up, take out some of those lower highs, it's starting to look a bit better. Okay, so in context of the bigger chart, we could just be heading up to, on the monthly chart, heading back up to 125, 130 zone, building higher lows, but you're definitely starting to see some signs now. It's coming off a good base, good strong base, a major high low built potentially at 50, showing some good signs now. Okay. All right. Let's just see, anything anyone else wants to cover? Just 1 second there, guys. We'll just whack on hold for a tick. Anything else, guys? So I hope that helped there, Clement. I hope it's shown you some, the way we're looking at things. I guess you can see that move, that move down there, starting to build that base. You don't know whether it's consolidating, but it's starting to pop out to the top side. It's not looking too bad. All right, if there's anything else, guys, anything else you want to quickly look at? If not, I'll probably call it a day. Now, tomorrow morning, we won't have a live stream on tomorrow morning. I'm heading my way back. No live stream tomorrow morning. Yeah, but we'll be back on, that'll be Wednesday. So back on again as usual Wednesday morning. We get into it. So if any between now and then, if you've got anything you want to look at, feel free to push it through to support at TradeSetup.com.au, or just once you're onto the chat, send it through just send it through the chat there, and we'll have a look at it. Anyway, thanks very much for joining us, guys, and we'll speak to you on Wednesday morning. Cheers. Bye-bye.